Run Pure Sports Core Report. What a week to debut our Core Report when just Wednesday, our early slate MLB cores crushed. DraftKings led the way, recommending a Blue Jay stack featuring Ross Stripling, Bo Bichette, Alejandro Kirk, and Teoscar Hernandez, who all went off for close to 20-plus points each. Blue Jay stacks found their way into early slate cores across the board, leading to RPS logos all over the leaderboards. RPS is always innovating DFS content, and this week, we wanted to introduce you to some new items we are including in our premium offerings. First up is the Daily Assist featuring Hoop 2410, who will be giving a premium overview on daily slates for a variety of sports, including MLB, PGA, and will soon be diving into the NFL as well. Hoop is one of the top-ranked DFS players out there, so to get his early premium thoughts on a slate will help you think like a pro and build that bankroll. Make sure to check out Hoop's Daily Assist in the past shows section of our Run Pure website. Hoop is not the only one creating new content to help our members crush. Mangone has also debuted Mangone's 3Max, a daily new chart to help you navigate MLB single entry and 3Max contests. Mangone is one of the most successful cash game players in the industry. Find out his premium recommendations for 3Max and single entry contests daily in the MLB drop-down menu on our Run Pure Sports homepage. All of this and more content is available virtually for every slate and every sport, all for a low monthly price of $80. Plus, you can knock 25% off your first payment by using promo code RPSHeater25. As always, if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, get in there now and take advantage of all of our free daily video content. Our content features the top DFS pros in the industry, giving you their winning takes, so subscribe today and find out why we're one of the fastest growing DFS sites out there. Thanks for joining us for this week's Core Report, and we will see you again soon.
Buenos dias. Love me a Sunday slate. And that's what we got here today. We got a big Sunday slate. We got JT Hayes from an undisclosed location. We've got Draft Cheat today from beautiful suburban Denver, Colorado, where it's just gorgeous here, 50s and 60s. I woke up yesterday morning, DC. It was 48 degrees and drizzling. And I was like, oh, I just got back from Florida. It was so refreshing. I love it. I'll take this any day. Good morning, my friend. How are you doing? How's the baseball going? I finally had a chance to sit on my ass and watch every game yesterday, and it was just delightful, and I can't wait to do the same today.
Yeah, things are good. Like you mentioned, nice and cool here in Colorado. Get some rain, slow down those fires a little bit. And, excited for Sunday baseball. Always a favorite day. You get baseball all day long, multiple slates if you want to play them. Bright early start. Can't complain. So excited to break it all down with you two guys.
JT Hayes, good morning, my friend. Wonderful to see you today. Again, hanging out somewhere that it's sunny and humid, I'm sure. What is up, my friend? Baseball. You're a big Braves guy now because it sounds like you're from the South. Last night's Braves-Dodgers game was spectacular. Not on the slate today. Do you have your Braves shirt on? Is that what I just saw?
Yeah.
Dude, you're such a bandwagon jumper. It's not even funny. What's going on, JT?
I mean, look, if I'm being honest, I'm on vacation. This is my last clean shirt. So it's one to wear on the ride home. But I'm a recovering Mets fan, as everybody knows. The organization just was so brutal to its fans that I had to change stripes. And the Braves are well run. They've been well run for a while. And good win last night over the Dodgers. Really great game by Fried. I kind of was one of the people that expected him maybe to not do as well against the Dodgers the second time, but they really, really struggle against talented left-handed pitchers. And he's certainly showing that he should be in the Cy Young conversation so far in the National League this season. So, but it's been a good week. It was a good slate last night, especially if you played the Giants. I had Giants on about half my teams. It looked to me like that was clearly the best spot there, and they came through. So we'll see what we can find today.
What year did you quit the Mets? Because I have a similar story.
I went to the first home World Series game against the Royals. I think that was 2015.
Yeah.
I was living in Jersey, and then in early 16 was when I moved down to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And they were building Truist Park. And I said, you know what, I'm going to get a season ticket package because regardless of who the team is, I just love baseball, love watching it.
Mm-hmm.
And I just kind of enjoyed what they were doing, how they were building, signing guys like Acuna and Albies early, you know, and then Freddie Freeman. I mean, it's sad to see him go, but the years that he was here, just to love to watch him play because how much he enjoys to play, his charisma. You know, you replace him with Matt Olson, it's definitely not the same charisma. It's gonna, you know, not be the same feeling. But I just like the way they're building their organization, and it's a bit different than what the Mets are doing. And maybe they get there because I know that Steve Cohen is big into analytics and wants to build up that part of his organization. But Braves aren't going out and buying the most expensive guys on the market. They're making strategic investments in guys and really trying to build up and continue that farm system. And we see it with a guy like Michael Harris coming up this season, right? He's been outstanding. Yep. So future's bright here, even though Freddie is now on the West Coast.
You and I are both old. That's why you joined the old guys pod during the football season. I went to 3 of the 4 World Series games in '86. Huge Mets fan. 2007, when I was covering baseball, I was part of that. That hurt. When it happened again in 2008, I said, I'm done. I'm just not doing this anymore until the Will Poncell. And now it's like I can't even root for a team. DC, who's your team growing up, man?
It was the Mariners. I was a Griffey Jr. fan early on. And then, you know, once I'm a fan that you got to be a believer that you got to be a fan of the hometown team of where you live in most reasonable situations, right? Like, yes, of course you want to jump off the Mets, just so pathetic. Or, you know, if you're like a Cleveland Browns fan, you don't want to be a Browns fan anymore. I get that. But I think if the team's decent enough, so I did, you know, I think maybe in middle school, switch to the hometown Twins, obviously out here in Colorado, but the Twins do remain my favorite team. Rockies, hard team to switch to. Maybe someday if they get some new ownership and some new leadership. But for now, yeah, I can't. I love going to Coors Field, but I can't be a full blown Rockies fan quite yet.
Great ballpark. Great ballpark. Hey, guys, before we get into this, any differences between FanDuel and DraftKings today that you want to get into? Have you noticed anything to this point? Because again, I'm a DraftKings player, but we do have to. We got to serve the FanDuel guys. So. Anything you want to bring up right now between the slate, between the pricing, and then we'll dive into your overall thoughts on the slate. DC, anything FanDuel versus DK today?
I don't see a ton of difference. You know, the 2 top pitching options today, I think looks to me pretty clear cut. We'll see what JT has to say on it. But I mean, Shane McClanahan at home against the Pirates. I don't know. You know how much analysis you need. He's the top price pitcher on both sites as he should be. You've got Dylan Cease. I think that clearly the second best option today, second highest price guy on both sites. And then from there, you know, if you're trying to get a little bit different or trying to save some salary to fit in bigger bats, you can go down on either side at pitcher if you want to. But yeah, it looks, you know, like a similar build. Sometimes you'll see big enough price discrepancies where you could potentially end up on 2 very different teams. And not today. I think, you know, if you find the stacks and you're in on those high price pitchers, your teams are going to look pretty similar, which, you know, I personally think that makes it more fun. I like to have similar teams on both sides, but yeah, it's a similar approach on either side, no matter which way you're building.
JT, any thoughts here? FanDuel versus DK today?
No, I very rarely play FanDuel, and the way I usually approach it is just the pitchers and the teams that I think are going to be in the best position. I find a way to play them if I'm playing that site.
All right, cool. Let's see, about 270 watch. That's a nice number since we just launched 59. We will 59 likes. We'll 60 now. We'll set a number a little bit later on, but just to be nice with us, why don't you hit the like button? We'll get going there, and let's get going into this slate. So as you were talking about, DC, McClanahan is up top today, 10-3. I like what we're going to see out of Joe Ryan. I think that's another pitcher that might get some big ownership here. And if he doesn't, then great. I'm really happy about that. But what about the top tier guys? Maybe 8K and above. We've got Roansy Contreras, for Pittsburgh against Tampa Bay. I see Singer against an awful Oakland team. Who are some of the guys AK and above DK you're considering?
I'll start with McClanahan. I don't know how much time we really need to spend on him, but I'm playing 20 lineups on DraftKings. He'll be on most, if not all of them. I haven't built up obviously all my teams yet. We don't even have, frankly, most of the lineups out quite yet, so you can't build your lineups yet. But I mean, he's just way too cheap at 10.3K on DraftKings. You look at the team total for the Pirates is sitting at 2.3. I think that's the lowest team total I can remember seeing all year long. So he's also the highest strikeout upside pitcher in baseball, arguably, right there with guys like Garrett Cole and Corbin Burns, of course, but right there at the very tip top of the heap. And I guess this Pirates lineup that, they're going to have to play lefties against them. There's tons of strikeouts to be had. He's at home. I just don't see getting away from that spot. So, maybe JT has a different take, but for me, more or less a lock button on Shane McClanahan. Certainly gets a little bit more interesting from there. As we mentioned, the second highest priced pitcher, Dylan Cease, who's been really good this year, not on the level of Shane McClanahan. And the matchup here is good for him, right, against Baltimore, but Baltimore does have a big league lineup for the most part, unlike the Pirates, who just frankly do not. It's also very good hitting conditions in Chicago today. Wind blowing out. It's a good hitter's park in general anyway. And Dylan Cease can be wild at times. So I expect him to pitch well. I think the strikeouts are going to be there for him, but I don't consider him to be the same level of, quote unquote, free square that a Shane McClanahan is. I certainly think you can pair up McClanahan and Cease. There's going to be enough value, especially on a Sunday. We see different lineups, and so you're going to get more options. At the stone minimum, 2K and that 2 to 3K range is typically going to be more viable on a Sunday and on a fairly big slate like we have today. So if you want to pair those top two guys, I think that's absolutely an option. Nestor Cortez, I'm not playing him at home against Houston. That's a cross off for me. I just don't think I've talked about just not being totally bought in on him, and we've kind of seen a couple of these last few starts. Just not quite as sharp as he was early on in the season. From there, though, I think you can make a case for a number of guys. It gets a little dicey right off the bat. You've got Joe Ryan, pitcher for the Twins at home against Colorado. We love, or at least I love, targeting Colorado when they are on the road, right? They're awesome at Coors, but you get them on the road and the true colors of these guys kind of shows, and they're just not the same team. I do have some concerns about him, though. Missed a couple weeks with COVID and hasn't been quite as sharp since he's come back. The velocity's been down across the board, across all his pitches. And my problem with going to Joe Ryan is he's priced close enough to Dylan Cease, where if Cease pitches, reasonably close to his potential, I just don't think Joe Ryan is going to be able to match him. It just because the strikeouts won't be the same. That's how I see it. So I do like Cease over Ryan. I do think Ryan's in play, but I have a little bit of concern there. And then the other two guys I'm looking at in that 8K plus range are Brady Singer, mostly just because of the matchup at home in a pitcher's park against Oakland, who obviously have a horrible, horrible offense. I don't really love Singer as a pitcher much, and 8,100 for him is a little bit of a high price to pay for me, but the matchup is so good. He's got to be in play on the slate. And then the other guy I do prefer over Singer, and I think probably going to be my third highest owned pitcher is Roansy Contreras, pitching for the Pittsburgh Pirates, goes into Tampa. Probably not going to get the win against Shane McClanahan, but I do think he can get strikeouts. He's got good stuff. In this Tampa Bay lineup, JT, man, there's just not much there, right? But like their best hitters are, Randy Arozarena and G-Man Choi. And then it's frankly kind of a bunch of minor leaguers, especially as you get further down the lineup. Some of these new guys that they've called up, guys like, Josh Lowe, who is a somewhat promising rookie, but he's got like a 37% strikeout rate. So I think Contreras, always hard to trust a rookie pitcher, but man, if he's on his game, I could see a lot of strikeouts for him. We saw, Mitch Keller pitch okay, got strikeouts yesterday. JT Brubaker gave up a lot of hits, but the strikeouts were there for him. Neither of those guys are, in my opinion, very good pitchers. I actually think Contreras clearly the most talented of the three. And so I think the strikeouts could be there for him. So yeah, and that 8K plus range, McClanahan, Cease, Contreras, in that order. And, I'm sure we'll talk about cheaper pitchers, but I don't see a ton of cheaper pitchers that I feel confident in today. So I do think today, for the most part, you do want to spend at pitching.
All right, JT Hayes, let's get into this. I'm sorry I called you JT Hayes. It just rolls off the tongue. I mean, it's just such a wonderful name. So we'll just call you JT.
Why are you apologizing for calling him by his name?
Because he hates it. And we've talked about this so many times.
What I said, DC, was it's just weird when I'm on a, pod or something with three people and they keep saying JT Hayes. It's just like, it's like JT, just stop at JT.
But it's like, it's just
like
so
saying
good.
Pete Christensen. So Pete Christensen, tell me what you think.
Yeah. What do you think, Petey?
Right?
What's up, Petey?
I think that's the first time I've been called Pete on this show in like 300 episodes. So
should we call him Pete, JT, or just keep DC, right?
Let's keep DC. DC.
Because if you would have said Pete, then I would have just kept calling you JT Hayes. So McClanahan a lock button today?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I talked about Max Fried in the National League Cy Young conversation. I mean, McClanahan, there's maybe a little bit more competition potentially in the American League, but my goodness, he's just looked outstanding no matter who he's pitching against, no matter the matchup, where it is, and he's at home. This is the lowest total on the slate by a large margin. DC talked about the run total here and the run total for Pittsburgh. So yeah, I think I'm probably going to be very close to locking McClanahan in. Cease, love the pitcher. The Orioles have been pesky this week, but Cease is, I would say, the best of the pitchers that they're going to face. And it was only a few starts ago that Eric Fetty did pretty well against them. So right-handers have done better against the Orioles. My concern with Roansy is I'm going to play him, but I've said all week, and we have here at RPS, that the Tampa Bay lineup is awful. The Tampa Bay lineup has nothing, and they've just punched us in the face repeatedly. They did it to the Yankees pitchers. They did it to Keller. They did it a little bit to Brubaker. I think kept him down in the 10 to 15 point range. And look, I don't think 10 to 15 points from your pitcher is likely to be enough to win on this slate unless you nail every single offensive position. Mm-hmm. So I'll have some. I'm just a little bit lower. DC mentioned a rookie pitcher, big talent. But I do like Joe Ryan a little bit more than you do, DC, just because he got into the sixth inning last time. Yeah. He's not really a pitcher that is a velocity guy. He's a pitcher that is more reliant on his deception and his motion and his sequencing. Yep. And I see nothing in this Colorado team on the road to really make me concerned. My opinion of Joe Ryan is I think this could be the start where he gets it back to being right and maybe goes on a little bit of a run here. So I like Ryan. The price tag on Singer is probably enough to put me out. The A's have shown a little bit of punch recently. I don't think they're going to do a lot here, but it's just enough to take me off of him. And I think that probably covers the 8K and up range, because like DC, I'm going to be focused on that top range pretty much and trying to get McClanahan, Ryan where I can. And if I don't have one of those two, it'll be Cease, and I'll mix in Roansy.
Yeah, so it sounds like we're pretty much on the same page. We're close to it, where it's McClanahan is clearly the number one. And then from there, maybe I'm a little higher on Contreras over Ryan than you are, but we both like both guys. I think you're probably right about Ryan. You're definitely right about the velocity thing. Like, he gets whiffs on that fastball, despite it being, it's always been very pedestrian velocity wise. It's just the deception of it, the spin of it, location, whatever it is. He gets the job done, and he's not going to be, we wouldn't think, held down by missing a couple weeks for very long. So maybe I overstated concern there. I do like Joe Ryan. My biggest concern is that I just don't think he can match Cease if Cease is on his game. But yeah, I get it with Ryan. I just kind of like the savings with Contreras, that little bit of savings. But yeah, those four guys, I think we're both on. We're all on board with those four.
Yeah, Ryan and McClanahan standing out to me. You guys got the rest of them. So we ran through that. It's going to be interesting build then. A lot of people are going to be on Toronto today. There's some expensive expensive offenses. So we're going to have to get creative with the cheap. If we're paying up a pitcher, we're going to have to get cheap elsewhere. What are you laughing about, Mr. Hayes?
Big T.
Oh boy.
Big T is asking if I've ever done a show in the same place twice. And, you know, I mean, I have from my home, but when I'm not at home, I'm in different spots. So, I mean, it is what it is.
That's what's so. I totally regret that chunk of our lives we're not getting back. It's my fault because
There's
I asked
so
you
much of these
question.
shows that I regret with you, Holden. But go on.
Oh, trust me, my friend. I know. I go into these knowing that whoever is working with me is just going to be sweating by the end of it. You're going to be tired. You're going to be cranky. It's going to be awful. You know who else is going to be tired and cranky very soon? Is my friend Susie. She is like, she's bursting at the seams. That baby's coming out here sooner than later. I hope she took all my advice. And while she is still available to us, I got to give her a shout out. She put out a remarkable tennis core. Shout out to Jimbo Drums too. Single bullet shipper for $900. And Wimbledon creeping up on me. Starts Monday. Big prize pool on DK. Check out Susie's core. All of her cores to premium members. She is just terrific at what she does. We had her on a couple football pods too. She's wonderful. And that's the thing. When you go to Run Pure, we're not just giving you baseball. We are 75 days maybe away from the National Football League. So that's coming back very soon. Our boy Bruce, who sent a picture of a very nice butt. He always does it. I think today it's his wife. It might not be though. And if it is him, nice one. Nice one, Bruce. It's a very nice picture. I must say you work on your glutes quite a bit and I'm impressed. But make sure, get there. Run Pure Sports. We have so much MMA. Didn't you guys just crush MMA again, DC? I don't know if you did personally. All I'm seeing is winners again.
It was close. I had 20 lineups in there and had a few that were very close to the top. Just one pickoff, 5 of the 6 guys in the optimal. So didn't quite get there, but I'm sure a lot of Run Pure members had good slates. And yeah, we typically do, obviously breaking down that UFC card, every UFC card, me, Keg, and Title, the typical 3. We do it on Fridays for non-pay-per-view events like it was last night. And then we do it on Saturdays for the pay-per-view events, which we do have coming up this week. I think the best card of the year so far on Saturday. So tune into that. That's always free for everybody on YouTube. And should be a fun week of UFC coming up.
Yeah, just dudes hitting again, ladies and gentlemen. All right, here's where we are. We're at 400 watching, 123 likes. It's time to get that going since we're going to move on to the offensive side of things. JT Hayes, set the number. God damn it, I did it again. It's going to be a while. It's going to be a process, JT. It's going to be a process, buddy. You and Pete over here. So talk to me. What's the number of likes we're going to need this afternoon?
Yeah, it's funny, Holden. We did the shows only premium on Friday, and the members fessed up, and they said they were laying off the like button because they wanted the information themselves. So first, a disclaimer, don't be fucking greedy today. We got 400 plus watching. Let's set it with, let's set a stretch goal. All right. 275.
Ooh, 275 today.
Big number, JT.
I think we can get there. I think they can do it.
I like it. I like the ambition.
If the members hit the like button, we're going to get there.
So the members are boycotting right now? That's what it is? Yeah. Did they tell you this?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, that's messed up. I mean, come on, guys.
I think it's a
mutiny. That's what it is. It's a fucking mutiny over here. Guys, members, come on, be nice. We're back here.
I didn't see the Friday early show that was premium only on Friday, but I heard it was a good time. I heard our friend Steve Boyden was a little uncomfortable with the amount of cuss words being delivered on the show.
JT must have been on it. Were you on it?
He was showing his youth. I can talk about Steve because I know he's not awake right now.
Yeah, exactly. We can throw him under the bus all we want. He's not here to defend himself.
He was cuddling with Evan Silva until the wee hours of the morning. But he said there was something about they were spooning on his couch until he had to kick him out. So, but the members have been pretty. They've been pretty mutinous, as Holden would say. So yeah.
All right, guys, be nice. We take care of you over here. We got everything. Don't you boycott Cesar Martinez. Don't you say sorry. It's not going to hurt you. We give you so much awesome stuff. And like I told you, we're going to start doing a lot more premium stuff. So chill out, broski. All right. Hit the freaking like button. We're at 168. We're about 107 away from JT. There you go. And yeah, did you drop the C word, JT?
I can't confirm or deny that because
okay, so I feel like you did, and that would make Stevie Boyd very uncomfortable. So, yeah. Imagine like your biggest celebrity friend bragging about that all the time. Who, by the way, Evan Silva's a guy I got to know, wonderful individual, but boy, Stevie just goes out of his way to talk about spooning and drinking with him. It's just ridiculous.
He likes to drop a name. He likes to drop a name, and but. Still, Stevie's our guy. Yeah. It just amused me, the back and forth that he was having on Twitter with Big T this morning.
Could you imagine if he knew Frank Schwindel? Like, it would be over. I mean, it would be nonstop Frank Schwindel. Let's get into offense. Enough fucking around. Told you, DC, again, if we're paying up a pitcher, we're going to need some cheap stuff here. No question about it, but we're doing game by game, right, gentlemen? So let's get right into this. Houston and the Yankees. How about the Yankees today? They're going to be a little bit of chalk. We're going to get there as an alternative to the Blue Jays, DC.
We might, yeah. Team total over 5. They get Jose Urquidy today. Obviously, yesterday, man, Christian Javier. I wasn't on the Yankees yesterday, but I also wasn't on him, and he was just electric. He's just all over the place in terms of his performances, but he does have that fastball, that high fastball, that when he's locating it, you see it. What did he get? 12, 13 strikeouts. I think that was a team no-hitter. Did he get through 6 or 7? I can't remember, but he was electric. So just worth noting, and maybe a guy that just going forward, almost regardless of matchups, maybe you want to get a little taste of Christian Javier on most slates when he's pitching, because that upside he showed is just not capable. Most pitchers just aren't capable of delivering a performance like that. So on to today, Urquidy is interesting. An interesting pitcher not an interesting pitcher to play again. I'm not to play again, not on Urquidy, but he's interesting to target against because he's one of the few pitchers in baseball who seems to have truly legitimate reverse splits where he gets hit harder by the same handed batters. And that's not a good place to be against this Yankees lineup, who are, pretty predominantly right-handed. Their lineup today, swinging from the right side, LeMahieu, Judge, Stanton, Donaldson, Torres, I'm not going to play Connor Fluff at the bottom, but Jose Trevino you could play if you need a punt at catcher. And then you got Rizzo in the middle there too, who's obviously a pretty good hitter. So 90 degrees in Yankee Stadium. We know it's a great home run ballpark. That's going to be the case today as well. So I kind of like these Yankees right-handed bats. They're expensive, though, especially Aaron Judge, 6.3K. He is way up there, but he is the guy that I want the most, right? Just have an amazing season, and I think he's going to win MVP this year. But certainly you can play a Donaldson is cheap, 3,500. I like him a little bit. Stanton, and Torres. I like the middle of that lineup. 3 through 6 would be where I would most want to go with the Yankees, especially with those reverse splits for Urquidy. And you might see them go a little bit overlooked just because, maybe because of the splits. I think if he was left-handed and all the other numbers were the same, I bet you would get more people on these right-handed Yankees bats than we'll see today. So I'm in on these guys. But yeah, especially Judge and Stan Donaldson are the 3 that I like the most.
Stan and Donaldson. All right. You want anything from this game, JT, or is it time to move on?
Oh, no, I like the Yankees a lot here. You get a tough lefty in Framber, followed by Verlander and Javier's performance yesterday. And now they get Jose Urquidy. It's just a massive downgrade in the level of pitching that they're going to see. They did get no hit yesterday. I expect them to come back and smash Urquidy here in this spot. So
they might make up for yesterday and turn it around. And they like the average of the 2 hits.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and then if you're not on Cortez, like DC and I are not on Cortez, I mean, a couple of these right-handed bats for Houston, I think you could pick out. Bregman stands out to me here, always Altuve. And then Jeremy Pena is back for the Astros in that lineup. So I don't know if you could game stack it. I don't know if I'll do that, but I do like 2 or 3 mans from the Astros as well.
Holden, I hate to steal hosting duties from you, but I got to ask JT because I'm struggling. We talked about the expensive pitchers and we do want to spend at pitching, but there are a lot of good expensive bats on the slate, right? Like maybe you want Aaron Judge and Altuve and Vladimir Guerrero, and you can't get those guys, obviously, if you're paying all the way up at both pitching spots. I'll be honest, there's, usually on a slate this big where there's, how many options do we have below 10K? At least 10 plus options, below 8K rather at pitcher. Do you see anything below that, Resny Contreras at 8K that you're willing to use down there? Because I like to spend down at pitching when I can, but I can't find anybody. Is there anybody you're willing to use down there?
There's one guy, and it won't be in a lot of lineups because he started the season horrifically. But I think that was because he was dealing with what every pitcher, we've been seeing it with Jack Flaherty, right? This is his spring training, so he's not quite right yet. It's James Kaprielian, and he's been not great. And I'm sorry to the Royals fan club within RPS. I know. I'm
a member, by the way. So
yeah, I like playing the Royals too. But at 5'6", he is coming off his best start of the season. Wasn't a pure performance, but a good pitching performance against Seattle. And you get a Kansas City team that I think and that park plays a lot bigger on days like today where it's cool and the wind is blowing in. So if it was 95 and the wind blowing out, I would definitely not say I can play James Kaprielian. With the weather there, I think at his price point, maybe 15, 20% of Kaprielian.
Did you not talk about Kaprielian earlier?
We didn't go below the 8K range.
Oh, so you didn't
get the opportunity. You didn't ask him the question.
I did. I said go through the whole pitching slate.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah. But thank you for doing the hosting job. I think you did a wonderful job. Sometimes I have to do your job by giving those one-off winners, but that's okay. We all get along in the end, and we all help each other with our strengths and weaknesses, right? DC, it's a wonderful thing that we do here at Run Pure.
Yeah, I do agree with the Kaprielian call that he's the best option down there. I think you make good points about the park for in Kansas City playing pitcher friendly today. It kind of always does, but yeah, especially when it's a little bit cooler and the wind's blowing in. And I'm surprised to see the Royals with the team total approaching 5. Yeah. Like I know Kaprielian hasn't been very good, but he was okay last year. And that lineup for the Royals, obviously they lost Salvador Perez for a long while, so he's not in there. They got Ryan O'Hearn back, who that's good strikeout opportunities.
Couple of strikeouts.
And really not a very good lineup, right? So yeah, I think he can survive, which is kind of what you're hoping for him out of 5,600 salary, right?
All right, let's keep going here. And that's what we're talking about. We're going to try and if we're not going to find value at pitcher, we're going to find value in these lineups, right? We all like the Yankees. Would we consider going to the bottom of the Yankees lineup today? Maybe with a mini stack, or is it just let's get the big guys in there and move on? Both of you guys, whoever wants to answer first.
I think DC mentioned Trevino, and he's showing a little bit of pop here. So I like him. Keener Falefa is a guy that, I don't know. You're just not going to – it just doesn't seem so far this season that, you're looking at, can he get a couple of singles and a stolen base or two? That's the upside there for him. So it's not a guy that I want to have in a ton of lineups, but if I needed to and it got me to McClanahan and Cease or McClanahan and Ryan, you could sacrifice that.
I would only do it as like the 5th Yankee in there that you just kind of have to play to get in the 2 pitchers that you want. Yeah.
I'm just stealing shit from Tony, basically. Just take the guys down at the bottom of the order, wrap it around, do this, make it cheap. Let's hustle through some other games that we don't want to mess with. Actually, I don't mind Boston today either. Does anyone want to play the Red Sox against Aaron Savali? Yeah, you're shaking your head, JT.
I actually like both sides of that game. Boston and Cleveland. Rich Hill has shown a tendency. He's pitched a couple of good games, but he's also shown a tendency to get hit really hard. And this Cleveland lineup is one that doesn't strike out a lot. So I like them here. It's kind of anecdotal, but it seems like Jose Ramirez on Sundays really enjoys the game of baseball. So I like both sides of this a little bit.
All right. What do you think here, DC? We want to mess with this game?
Yeah, I certainly think you can. Savali, I was on the Twins his last start, and he shut him down pretty good, but I'm not really a Savali believer. Looks like, pretty good hitting weather in Cleveland for sure. 90 degrees, and looks like some winds out to right field. I do prefer no, actually, Savali has somewhat reverse splits as well, it looks like. And obviously, most of the big bats in that Boston lineup do swing from the right. I guess a few of them. Martinez, Bogarts, Story all swinging from the right side. But yeah, Jaron Duran's been solid since being back promoted from AAA. Rafael Devers has been an absolute monster all season. So yeah, the Red Sox do look pretty tasty. I'm on board with that. And yeah, I think the Cleveland side too. I mean, Rich Hill, he can pull a rabbit out of the hat once in a while, but the bats here are cheap enough, right? You still got Franmil Reyes at 2,800. We know what Jose Ramirez can do. Yeah, looks like a good spot for offense for both sides.
Yeah, I like it. And then I think Duran is what, like 3-1? He's pretty cheap.
Up to 3.5, but still definitely.
It's 3.5 now. Okay. Yeah. 3.5. So, I mean, still affordable. And that offense leading off with the speed that he has. I like it. DC, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, Baltimore, and the White Sox. I'm just going to mash these two together. I have a feeling Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay is not on the list. Baltimore and the White Sox, anything here?
Yeah, no Pittsburgh for me. Obviously, Shane McClanahan going to be mostly all in there, and even on lineups where I don't have Shane McClanahan, I don't think I'm going to play any Pirates or anything. So, no thanks. Mostly the same for the Rays. Definitely more appealing than the Pirates side of this one. If you wanted to pick off a power lefty against Roansy Contreras, I wouldn't have really a problem with it. The problem is they don't really have any of them. They do get Wander Franco back today, so he would be, I guess, an option. But man, outside of a pretty hot start in April, he really has done almost nothing since then. Coming back from the IL, hey, maybe he's healthy now and can get the job done. But I'm probably going to wait and see it for 4,800 for Wander Franco, who doesn't have a ton of power anyway. I guess probably the most appealing bat to me in the Rays lineup, once you consider price, would be Josh Lowe hitting sixth. He's 2,700. He does have both power and speed. And, it's a rookie versus rookie matchup. So I don't hate his chances there. And then it was the White Sox and Orioles that you want to talk about. Yeah, the weather there is the most appealing part. 80 degrees and strong winds out to left center field in what is it? US Cellular now, I think the White Sox playing.
And isn't it? No, that was a few years ago.
Yeah.
Isn't it like guaranteed rate field?
Okay, yeah, guaranteed rate
like
field.
that.
Listen, I feel like the names on the stadiums change way more often than they used to. I think like it seems like growing up, it seemed like they were pretty locked in for long periods of time, and now it's like a new name all the time. But regardless, the Chicago White Sox Stadium guaranteed rate field should play hitter friendly today. So I'm still not going to end up with many Orioles, but a Cedric Mullins, maybe a Santander against Dylan Cease you could go to. The White Sox side is very interesting, though, against Jordan Lyles, who just isn't very good, right? A below average arm, an innings eater, but he'll give up a lot of runs at times. So if you want to go, especially the top half of the White Sox lineup, I don't think we have the White Sox lineup out yet, but assuming it's what we expect, Anderson, Vaughn, Robert, Abreu, Jake Berger's got power. Gavin Sheets is 2,100 if he's in there. I think a number of guys you can go to. You see that White Sox team total up over 5, and the ball will be flying there. So I was on the White Sox yesterday. They didn't come through against Spencer Watkins. Maybe a little rebound opportunity here against Jordan Lyles.
Oh, we're gonna get to the Blue Jays in a second. Springer's back. Oh my God. I can't wait to talk about that. I don't know how the hell I'm going to play him, but it'll be fun. JT, you want to talk about one of these, any of these teams here? Baltimore, the White Sox, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, anything right now?
No Pittsburgh for me. I mean, Tampa, outside of Isaac Paredes, has been really more of an annoying singles hitting stolen base team. So, I mean, that's sort of the expectation there. And then, the White Sox, ordinarily, I would say, yes, I want to play the White Sox, right? The line matches up, the opposing pitcher. I mean, Jordan Lyles at 7-3 is sort of amusing. However, they couldn't hit Dean Kramer. They couldn't fucking hit Spencer Watkins. Why do I think they're going to hit Jordan Lyles?
I haven't been on this team all year. Like yesterday was one of the first times I stacked the White Sox the whole year, just because Watkins is, he is just absolutely brutal. And they couldn't get the job done. And I'm like, do I really want to go back to it? Not really, to be honest.
He was coming off the IL too. So it was like, here's a guy who's a terrible pitcher. Every team has lit him up. And I think he scored 20 DK points last night, like yesterday afternoon. So
Jordan Lyles isn't good, like no question. He is way, way better than Spencer Watkins is.
Which is like, maybe we should be thinking about pitching Jordan Lyles. I don't know if I'm going to do that. Hey, he pitched 2 gems for me against the Yankees earlier this season.
He's had a few.
Yeah. So I don't like, I still am rather pitching these other guys. But it gives me enough reason to say maybe I really don't want to play these White Sox.
All right, so you don't want to play Lyles, but real quick, DC, because you guys are talking about, especially JT, you're like, you got to hit pitching today, right? I mean, Lyles doesn't have any upside for me at 7K, 7.3. Was it 15 points?
No, he's got 24, 25 point upside in his wins. He did that against the Yankees twice, back-to-back starts. And if you look, and even if you look at the underlying metrics here, the Sierra, the XFIP, whatever,
month ago,
he's not the worst. He has not been the Jordan Lyles of 3 years ago. I think it comes down to, the organizational philosophy there in Baltimore, how they teach pitchers. I mean, these guys made Jorge Lopez a dominant closer. So there is something to the way that organizations teach these guys. Dodgers are another one. You see what Tyler Anderson is doing this season. It's pretty remarkable for a guy with his track record. Look, I'm not saying Jordan Lyles is great. I'm just saying of the matchups on this slate, given the way that the White Sox have been playing, I think I'm going to be more inclined to maybe they'll be on the cut list.
Okay.
And then, my point on Lyles is going to be if he was priced down near Caprillion, I think I would be in, but that extra 2K makes me more likely to, because kind of the point of spending down at one of the pitcher spots is it's going to be a unique way, not a unique, but a unusual way to build today, because it's just obvious who the best pitching plays on the slate are, and they're all expensive, and so you won't see many people go to the cheaper pitchers. So if you can find one down there, whether it's Lyles, Caprillion, or someone else, you will have access to hitters that other people can't get in most people's lineups. So that's when the chalk is going to be expensive pitching, like you just have a clear path to a different build that other people can't get to if you can, hit the pitchers that perform well. There will be cheap pitchers who have decent performances. There's enough of them that, one or two of those guys will come through. Sounds like we're on Caprillion and maybe a little taste of Jordan Lyles. We'll see.
I have to address someone in chat. And it pains me because I love him. But the other night, he put Ronny Garcia on 74% of his teams. And Ronny Garcia did fine. He got to 16 DraftKings points. For the slate, he actually did very well comparable to other pitchers. If you look at metrics, and I know that he doesn't do that, and he's great at what he does look at, Ronny Garcia, by degrees this season, is 1,000 times worse than Jordan Lyles. So on any given slate, it could work out. And I'm not saying I'm going to have a lot of Jordan Lyles, but I think the way this White Sox team is playing, it's very similar to the Ronny Garcia play, which I think that and a couple of other things went into his logic there of who they were playing, park, etc. And I know that a lot of people are saying, the weather there. The weather isn't going to help the White Sox hit the ball, and they haven't been doing that.
I mean, 80 degrees, 17 to 20 out the left.
You got to make contact, Holden. I mean, Spencer Watkins, how many guys does Spencer Watkins strike out? 4 or 5.
More than the 0 he should have gotten.
Yeah. So that's the only point on Lyles. I'm not saying I'm going to have a lot of them.
So first of all, JT on the defensive right here as Big T also coming at him with me. I mean, you don't have to listen to me. You better listen to Tony. But here, he's already fired up. He's already mentioned that our subscribers had a mutiny on the likes, and he wants 275 with over 500 watching right now. So let's get it in gear. 71 to go. Let's meet JT's number, and then everything's good. Dupe says he loves your take. I mean, that's great. We like that. It's other people like his take, I'm sure, but we'll see what happens. I also want to mention something. Whenever the show is done, I'm going to hop over on the bet side like we always do every Sunday. JJ, interesting because last night said he had whiskey dick, guys, and yet he still said he got the job done with his wife, and I don't know how that's possible. So we'll find out how it's possible during the bet show. Joey Work, JJ giving their winners. I got a minus 1,000 lock today. So that's going to be a great pick as well. I just crush on that show. I'm going to be honest with you. Even my real picks are good. So let's get over there on the bet side. And if you are not, and that's a free show on the YouTube, but our big promotion right now, get bets. So the bet subscription included free for your first month when you're signing up for the DFS plan. Run Pure Sports. Like button will be great. Subscribe will be, where are we subscribers? 9.23. Hoop's going to have a heart attack here if we don't get to 10K soon. Do that. Subscribe, bottom right-hand corner, little red button. JT, let's go right back to you. Colorado, Minnesota. Do you like any Twins today? And then let's just stay away from Oakland, KC. At least I want to.
Yeah, Twins have been really, really hurtful. But it's a decent matchup. Ryan Feltner has actually been pretty good. This is another spot where I think the wind is blowing out 20 miles per hour. I'm not on Colorado. I might have some Twins lineups, and I do like Joe Ryan quite a bit.
All right, DC, get into this, dude.
Yeah, I don't think Feltner is terrible by any means, but also certainly not someone that you need to avoid. Twins do have Byron Buxton back in there. I've mentioned a few times this lineup and this team in general, it's not really an opinion. It's just a fact. They play way better whenever he's in the lineup over the last couple of seasons. It's like their record is just insane. They're like a 650 winning percentage, 65 winning percentage when he's playing, and it's like well below 500 when he's out of the lineup. So he's back in there, which makes me like them a little bit more. They've got just about the best lineup they can roll out there outside of Jeffers over Sanchez. But yeah, that top 5 for the Twins looks tasty. I got to look up, they got a Mark Contreras hitting 9th. He's 2K. I need to look up him and see if he's any good for a potential punt or maybe a wraparound stack. But yeah, I do like the Twins, another team with a total over 5. It's interesting. It seems like a lot of the team totals today, the high ones are all sitting right, just eclipsing that 5 mark, right? You got the White Sox at 5.1. Blue Jays are sitting at 5.2, which frankly feels a little low to me, but that's where it's at. The Twins at 5.1, the Yankees at 5.1. So you will see probably ownership kind of spread out a little bit among some of these top projected run scoring stacks.
All right, let's move on. GT, did you get a chance at that? You did, didn't you? So let's just move on to our next games. Can we find something with Toronto and Milwaukee to fit this game in with our pitchers today if we're paying up? And again, Springer's back in the lineup, DC. Toronto at Milwaukee. What are we doing with the Blue Jays today? They're going to be chalk. Love them, though. They're all hitting.
Yeah, I'm in on the Blue Jays here. They will be chalk, but man, they get Springer back in the lineup, like you said. This team is peaking right now, I think. Getting healthy. Obviously, you have those kind of middle of the order bats: Bichette, Guerrero, Teoscar. But Teoscar, he spent a good amount of time on the injured list. Kind of came back a little bit slow. He's back, crushing the ball. You've got some breakout players, guys like Santiago Espinal. I mean, Alejandro Kirk just hitting ropes every single day. He looks like an incredible hitter to me. And even the bottom of this lineup, Matt Chapman is the famous Matt. We got Matt Chapman on a Shane McClanahan say, JT, and you and I on the show together against Chichi Rodriguez. You add up all the pieces, and I think Matt Chapman's gonna do some damage today via the long ball. So I love him. Lourdes Gurriel hitting 8th is 3K and swinging a really good bat lately. Again, a guy who got off to a slow start, but it has turned around for him, no question about it. And even Kevin Biggio down in the 9-hole has shown a little bit of power recently after being a really big disappointment for the Blue Jays over these last couple seasons. Maybe he's turning it around finally. So I think absolutely all 9 Blue Jays are good plays. You can stack this team any way you want. If you want to spend up for both pitching spots and you want, the Chapman, Gurriel, Biggio 7 through 9 stack at the bottom, absolutely those guys could do a ton of damage here. They get Chichi Gonzalez. I don't know why he's getting major league starts, but he's just awful.
A lot of teams, DC. A lot of teams out there, man. You got to fill it some way.
I know, but it seems like you could just give a rookie a chance or something. I don't really get why he's pitching, but I'm glad he is today because we can get this Blue Jays team. Saw Big T in Discord chat talking about, the Brewers bullpen being strong, and that is true overall. But listen, if they do what they should do against Chichi Gonzalez, you're not going to see guys like Josh Hader and Devin Williams come out of the pen. Both of those guys have pitched 2 out of the last 3 days anyway. I think it's pretty unlikely they end up pitching this game unless Chichi Gonzalez shuts down the Blue Jays stack, in which case, that team's not going to win anything for you anyway. So I'm not really worried about that. I think the Blue Jays pitchers that are most likely, or the Brewers relievers rather, that are most likely to pitch in this game, frankly, aren't very good. Guys like Brent Suter, other guys, their names escape me, but I'm not really worried about the bullpen coming in and shutting down the Blue Jays if they can put at least 3 or 4 on Chichi. So yeah, I don't see myself really getting away from the Blue Jays today. They are my number 1 stack. And yeah, like I said, you can play 1 through 9, so you can mix and match these guys if you want.
Okay. JT, how do we want to handle this, man? We're paying up for pitching. How do we get some Blue Jays in here?
Yeah, it's interesting. Chichi is probably only going to go 3 or 4 innings. He's definitely going to definitely going to give up a home run or 2. DC makes a good point about the bullpen. And yesterday, the Jays actually got to the bullpen a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, it was Matt Chapman who hit a home run yesterday. They've been hitting really, really well. So yeah, I don't think I can make an argument here to not play the Jays. And then on the other side of this, Barrios has generally bad home road splits, and his issue is lefties. And there are some lefties in this Milwaukee lineup that I think are pretty interesting today, that are pretty affordable. So I like pieces of this game. I'm not going to go, probably not going to be as heavy as you are, DC, on the Jays, but definitely we'll have some.
Okay, guys, like button would be wonderful. Enough of the mutiny subscribers. Get it up here. 40. I shouldn't have said that. 40 likes to go. We're at 565 watching. Another wonderful crowd here on a Sunday morning. One of the people watching is Tony. Big T. I bet you Big T didn't hit the like button. Do you think he's got a mutiny going too? Is he in here with the rest of the subscribers, JT?
I think he was upset. He was upset that I was
hate your Lyles take.
Saying you might consider Jordan Lyles, not saying that you should play him at the exclusion of the better pitchers on the slate. Yeah. Just that, hey, it's a speculative play against a team that's not hitting, and I don't think he liked that. So he might have the power to actually take likes away. So he might be siphoning likes off as the people hit it just to fuck me. I mean,
serious question: do you guys hit it? Like, do you go to YouTube and hit it? You do.
Of course. Yeah.
You do, DC. See, I thought you'd just purposely, just to troll everybody, just not do it, but only you knew it. That's not the case.
How would that work if no one knew that I didn't hit it?
You would just have like a silent troll job. You just let's move on. It was a horrible
I like to be
idea.
very vocal about my troll jobs. So.
Let's cut my losses here, DC. And we'll just move on. We'll just move on to the next.
Good life philosophy for you, Colton. You need to follow that.
Cubs and Cards. Can we get a couple bats from this game, DC?
I'll start on this one. I think this is the most interesting spot on the slate for me, specifically the Cubs side of this. I talked both of Flaherty's starts I've had shows. Before the first one, I said I didn't think he was ready to come back to the big leagues. He's had a ton of injuries recently, but I think it was a shoulder that he was dealing with early on this season. He only made 2 rehab starts, got up to like 59 pitches, didn't perform well in the minor leagues. He comes back against Pittsburgh. He gets hit around a little bit. And then in his last start, didn't pitch well either. I talked about his velocity being down again in that first Pittsburgh start. And then it dropped further in the last start against the Brewers, where he only had like a 4% swinging strike rate, which is probably a career low for him. His fastball velocity, frankly, all his velocity is down 2 or 3 miles per hour across the board. So if you look at what he's done this season, a couple minor league starts where he didn't look good, 2 major league starts where he didn't look good, decreasing velocity in those 2 big league starts. And he's only on his normal 5 days rest here. So it doesn't really seem like he's trending in the right direction. And if you look at last year's numbers, he got hit really hard by right-handed bats. He frankly wasn't that good. So he is a big name pitcher. I actually think you'll see people pitch Jack Flaherty today. He's 6,600. That's a sticker shock, almost JT in the opposite direction, right? Where you say, oh man, what a discount on Jack Flaherty. I'm not taking that discount, not even close. I'm going to have a lot of Cubs in my own lineups. These guys are pretty cheap. They are a team that you can stack with 2 good pitchers. Maybe you can mix and match with the Blue Jays. I really wish Jack Flaherty was not in a pitcher's park with the wind blowing in Busch Stadium. And this Cubs lineup is bad, right? They are not inspiring names that you're going to roster. But, I mean, Christopher Morel's been okay. Ortega has some power and speed, swinging from the left side at 2,400, hitting second. He's cheap enough. Wilson Contreras, one of the best hitting catchers in baseball. Got to pay for him at 5,100, but at the catcher position, if you get a performance that can carry a team to, over the cash line or up to the top of the GPP. Ian Happ is having a good year at 3,700. He's cheap, hitting cleanup. Even guys like Wisdom, Nico Horner, these guys are okay plays, I think. So it's definitely more of a target against Jack Flaherty, who, listen, maybe he'll come out today and be back to his normal self. That would really surprise me. And so I gotta take a shot on some of these Cubs. I'm surprised that their team total is as low as it is, but in Busch Stadium in a pretty good pitching weather, if this was normal Jack Flaherty against this Cubs lineup, I think you'd see a team total in the low 3s, sitting around 3.7, 3.8 right now. I personally think they'll get 4+, maybe more runs against Flaherty. Against a bullpen for the Cardinals, it's bad anyway, but they do have 2 relievers at the back end of it, Ryan Helsley and Giovanni Gallegos, who are very, very good pitchers, who kind of, make the bullpen look decent enough overall. Both of those guys are unavailable today. Helsley threw 36 pitches yesterday. I would be very, very surprised if he ended up pitching. Same with Gallegos, through 32. So they're going to have to run through all of their bad relievers. Those are the only 2 good guys they have. So if you're telling me, I think Flaherty is the worst version of himself that we've ever seen in the big leagues at the current moment, is my belief. And then they're going to trot out a bunch of bad relievers out of the bullpen after that. So I'm high on the Cubs here. They will be my second highest owned team after the Blue Jays today.
All right, JT, Cubs, Cards. What do you got?
Yeah, that's a sharp take from DC. I came in knowing that I was not going to play Jack Flaherty. 3 1/3 innings pitched his last 2 outings, not very good innings whatsoever, and the decreased velocity. But I don't mind playing the Cubs here. I think you're going to get them at very low ownership, so that's interesting. And then the Cubs side, in terms of pitching, they've got Alec Mills listed as a starter, but it's Matt Swarmer's day to pitch. Yep. So I don't know if Mills is going to open and Swarmer's going to come in. Some teams have been doing that, trying to get guys on the right track. Swarmer has just been terrible.
Stinks.
JT, if you told me Mills was going to get 80+ pitches here at 5,300, I might take a shot on it on this particular slate.
Right. I just don't know though.
Yeah, I'm worried he's going to pitch one inning and get out of there, I just can't quite do it.
He did pitch, I think it was 4 2/3.
He's capable.
His last outing. I think that was maybe 6 days ago.
Yeah.
So it's just, I searched for a while this morning trying to figure out why Swarmer wasn't pitching and if Mills was an opener. And yeah, if we get any indication that Mills is going to start this game, it becomes interesting as one of those guys that you could throw into your pool, given the park here. But I like DC's take on the Cubs. I'll definitely have some.
All right, last game, Washington, Texas. Any pieces, either one of you? Any pieces at all?
I actually think both sides of this are a little bit interesting. I mean, we think there's going to be an opener for the Nationals, I believe. Not 100% sure, but it does look like the bulk pitcher is going to be Jackson Tetriol, I think is how you pronounce it. He's made 2 big league starts. Both of them have gone poorly for him, not getting any swings and misses, was mediocre at best in the minor leagues before getting the call. And the Nationals are another one of those teams that they just don't have like any good pitchers in the whole damn system, right? That like Steven Strasburg is done. They're paying Patrick Corbin $20 million a year to put up a 7 ERA, and it like somehow gets worse from there. So Tetriol is a guy who is not really he shouldn't be a starter at the big league level. He just shouldn't be. He's just not talented enough to do it right now. So the Rangers side, I think, is really interesting. The Nationals are another team. They had a bullpen game yesterday, I believe. No, Nationals did not. But regardless, they don't have much of a bullpen behind him. So I think the Rangers could do some damage. We don't love playing stacks in the warehouse, we like to call it, in Texas, where it's just not a good hitting environment in general. It's not good for home runs. I'm sure the roof will be closed in Texas, as it usually is all summer long. It's kind of ridiculous. I don't know that they have the like retractable roof. Just play indoors, I guess, if it's closed like 80% of the time. But regardless, the Texas lineup is interesting. I mean, you've got Josh Smith leading off. I like him a little bit at 2,300. We know what Corey Seager can do. Nate Lowe is 3,100. I'm a Jonah Heim fan. So there are hitters up and down the lineup that you can play for Texas. Again, maybe guys that you more kind of fill in around your stacks. I don't know if I want to go with a full-on stack here, but you certainly could. And then, the Nationals face Glenn Otto, who isn't really anything to write home about either. It was the Rangers, rather, that had the bullpen game yesterday, burned through pretty much their entire bullpen. Taylor Hearn threw 49, Matt Moore threw 34, and then a couple other guys pitched as well. So they're another team where I think Otto is coming off the COVID IL, if I recall correctly.
He's back today. Yeah.
Right. He's just not that good of a pitcher anyway. Hasn't pitched in 22 days. And the pitchers that we've seen miss, 2 or 3 weeks, like Otto has from COVID, have generally come back as a lesser version of themselves. And if that's the case for Otto, it might go poorly for him today. So I don't think anyone's going to play the Nationals, especially if we don't get this lineup. We don't have it yet. Potentially wouldn't get this till post-lock. And so you'll see this team be, I think, very under-owned. People don't like to play hitters from this ballpark. Neither do I. But, Soto, Josh Bell, Nelson Cruz, Luis Garcia can swing it a little bit. They've got some interesting options. So I do kind of like both sides of this game for offense.
JT, I feel like DC broke that game down well enough where you don't even need to. Plus, I got to get to the bet side because Joey Work's going to bitch slap me if I don't. Do you have any plays here from this game?
I pretty much agree with DC. Mini stacks for me, no interest in the pitchers. Plays
of the day. Number one stack, by the way. DC, is it the Cubs for you? Just to get different?
Oh, man, I have to say the Blue Jays. I just have to. But the Cubs are number 2 for me. At least when you take into account price and ownership and all that.
JT?
It's a toss-up. It really is. I like the Yankees a good bit. I like Cleveland a good bit. Right there with them.
And then our plays of the day, JT Hayes. It is the Eiffel Tower play of the day, as a matter of fact. Where do you want to go this afternoon?
Yeah, I always like this guy when he's facing a lefty, does a lot of damage. It's really, I think, maybe the best piece that Cleveland got back in the trade for Frankie Lindor, Ahmed Rosario.
Ahmed Rosario. Okay. What do you got here? DC play of the day, Mom's basement play of the day.
Yeah, we'll get a little weird here. We'll go to the Cubs, and we're going to go with Patrick Wisdom hitting fifth today. 273 ISO against righties. Flaherty gave up a lot of home runs yesterday to right-handed bats. I believe over 2 home runs per 9 innings pitched, which is a very, very high mark. And we obviously talked about my belief, at least, that Flaherty doesn't have it right now. So Patrick Wisdom, play of the day.
I'm going to go Jarren Duran, the top of the Red Sox order. At least one stolen base today. 3,500 on DK. Get you a little bit of salary relief in the outfield. Not the cheapest one in the world, but there you go. JT, they got to your likes, so give them a thumbs up. Thank you for jumping off the mutiny. Everybody's back on our side. That is subscribers. DC, good to work with you. JT Hayes, good to work with you. Like button on the way out. Check out Run Pure Sports. If you're not a subscriber, it's not just baseball. We got MMA. Wimbledon's coming up. Susie's on it, unless she goes into early labor, and then I'm sure our other guys will take care of it for her. For these two guys, I'm Holden. Head on over to the bet side. Me, Joey Work, and JJ. That show might have already started without me. I don't blame them. Simon, get us out of here.